Extremely. Yeah, the Lakers clinched their spot in the playoffs last night with a win over the Cavs. Their 15-2 record in the month of March is their winningest month since the year 2000. Wow. Luka scored 42 points. That's 13th straight games with at least 30. He also became the third youngest player ever to reach the 15,000 career point mark, behind only LeBron and KD. So here's what Luka had to say afterwards when he was asked about the state of his MVP case.
Hey, Luka, obviously you're getting a lot of MVP momentum right now. Another 40-point game is only adding to that. Wemby obviously recently stated his case for why he should win. Is that something you're interested in doing as well? And if so, what would your points be?
I mean, I never did that, so I'm not the one voting, so, you know, but I think I've been playing pretty good. We've been winning, so that's it. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, playing pretty good is an understatement, that's for sure. It's a historic run, actually, for Luka, as he does sort of close the margin, or is trying to, in this MVP race. Chris, what do you think of what he's been doing so far?
Oh, phenomenal. He's playing phenomenal. He's playing like one of the best basketball players in the league.
Yeah.
This is to be expected. What the Lakers are doing right now, they are getting hot at the right time. And Luka is a big reason why they've caught on with this surge. And so, no, definitely, when you're talking about MVP consideration, you definitely have to throw Luka into the mix, and you definitely have to talk. I still have a couple other guys I feel like are the front runners or the favorites, but if you're talking top five, I don't see how you not mention Luka in that conversation right now.
I agree. I see Luka top 5 candidate. I think you got to look cumulatively at the whole year. You can't get too caught up. It's great that he's doing this at the right time of year, but the Lakers, you know, they've been somewhat inconsistent throughout the season. I think you got to look at SGA, who's been hooping all year long. That's probably everybody's favorite right now.
Yeah.
And so I just got to look cumulatively at the entire year for me.
It's tough because we do go back and forth on how much is the guy plus the team success, because I do feel that Luka has been balling all season long, consistently, despite that there have been dips in what the Lakers have been doing. But what he has done so far this season has been great. But again, there have to be benchmarks and these markers that differentiate who's at the top and who isn't.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I remember, I bring it up all the time, when I voted for Russell Westbrook to win MVP. Most of that season I had James Harden. In the last 2 weeks, Westbrook stole the MVP award. And he had a couple of game winners in that 2-week stretch, and he was just playing phenomenal, and he averaged triple-double for the first time since Oscar Robertson, right? So he made history. But the reason why Russ was able to get it is because that MVP award was on shaky ground. Nobody had firmed it up. There's a couple
There's
players
not the case then,
already where it's it's in firm grasp.
Yeah.
We will say SGA, Wemby. I put Joker above. So I don't think this is a situation where Luka can steal the MVP, but he can place himself higher in the pecking order.
Sure, no question. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. It's the totality of it all, and the timing makes a big difference. As we stay here with the Lakers, last night LeBron James became the all-time winningest player in NBA history. And as you mentioned, that's regular season and postseason. All right, so is it even a surprise at this point that he's playing at this level this season, 23 years in? Because I think 5 months ago we would have been like, okay, LeBron, and now he's just doing it consistently, Robin.
I'm not surprised in the least, just because we do have those previous 4 or 5 months to look back on and say, man, he's been killing it.
Yeah.
He's been killing it.
I went, in 2014, I got the job to cover LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers for the Cleveland Plain-Dealer newspaper. This was when he left Miami to go back to Cleveland for the second time. I thought, at that time, 2014, I thought I was going there to cover the decline of LeBron. I thought he was going, you know, it was the tail end of his career.
12 years ago.
12 years ago. Exactly. So I'm not surprised anymore that he's doing this right here. I would have been, if you would have asked me in 2014 if I would still be covering LeBron in 2026, I would have said, man, something wrong with you.
No way.
Stop drinking what you're drinking, or stop using what you're using. That's not happening. But look, he's defied the what is it? Father Time. Yeah, Father Time. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, those in my ear, Robin, for helping me finish that line.
I was supposed to be your encyclopedia.
Hey, that's one of the things you're great at right there, Rob.
My apologies. I'll be better about it next time.
There's something wrong with you today, man. I don't know what it is. You're distracted.
Excuse me, I'm distracted? How so?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe your brother's birthday, something to do with it. I don't know.
Your twin brother's birthday.
You know, it's Mark Jackson's birthday. We didn't even mention Mark Jackson.
Mark Jackson, too?
Yeah.
Which one? The former head coach of the Golden State Warriors, Mark Jackson?
That's right, yes.
Okay. There's a lot of Mark Jacksons.
Yeah.
Just making sure.
All right, let's do a little bit of math, cumulative math, because if you put together Luka and LeBron in their current run, how much does that change the projection, really, for the Lakers team come playoff time, Chris?
Well, listen, I mean, I don't think that it changes it much because they're playing well, not taking anything from them, but the Western Conference standings, especially at the top, is very tough. So if they were to get out the first round, right now, I believe, the way the standings are positioned now, they would play the Rockets in the first round, I believe. And so I think they would be the favorites in that series. Then after that, they would have to play, I believe, San Antonio if they were to advance past the Rockets. I don't like those odds. I don't like those odds if they had to play OKC in the second round. But those are the sticking points right there. Those are the roadblocks the Lakers have to go through, and I just don't. I just think that's a tall task.
Wow, and I thought you designated me the Lakers hater on the show.
Well, I'm just a realist.
That was brutal.
Look at that bracket,
I'm
Rob.
sorry.
Rob, look at that bracket.
Mr. James, I'm sorry, Mr. Doncic.
Look at that bracket. They gotta play. They gotta play the Spurs if they.
That's fair. That's more than fair. It was just brutal.
I'm brutally honest, Robert. That's what the people want from us.
The playoffs, not the play-in.
I'm sorry, I'm getting used to this.
Playoffs start April 18th.
Yeah.
That's basically this afternoon. Okay, so those top four teams we were talking about, the top of the West, they combined to go an astounding 54-10 in the month of March. What? In fact, actually, the Thunder, Spurs, and Lakers together went 43-5. So are the Thunder the clear favorites in your mind, Robin, to really have your eyes on and those top teams as they move forward?
So as a player, you would say the Thunder, they're the favorites. They won the championship last year. They're the favorites until, somebody beats them in the finals. However, that being said, I picked the Nuggets at the beginning of the season. And the more I see out of the Nuggets, they were able to stay the course with Joker out. Joker's come back. He's been balling out. They've been getting huge contributions from Payne Watson. I can't say enough about that team. They're my favorites to come out of the West right now.
I like the field. I like the field. And when I'm talking about the field, I'm talking about San Antonio and Denver. OKC is the number one team. They're the number one team for a reason. They've been there. They're the reigning champs. They have the defending MVP. He might end up being the back-to-back MVP. But San Antonio presents a very daunting challenge for the OKC Thunder. And so I think the field is tough. Not to say OKC the number one for a reason.
For sure.
And again, that's why they play the game.
I would have said this. I would throw in the Spurs too without there's the caveat they don't have enough seasoning yet.
I hear you.
I love the coaching staff. I love the depth of the team.
I hear you. And I'm usually one of the ones that echo those sentiments, but they're not even supposed to be here. It's true.
Right.
And Wemby, again, when he speaks, people listen. And I'm not talking about just his teammates.
The league listens.
The league listens. And he's on a mission to win multiple awards, and he wants to win the championship this season. He's telling us, forget what y'all think. We're supposed to go through a learning curve and lose in the first round, lose in the conference finals the next year. Nah, we want it now. So I have to listen. He's made me a believer. So that's why I cannot dismiss the Spurs.
I know they got some kind of cult going on down there. I see their post-game rituals. It seems like you've been bought in.
Hey, I definitely am.
I mean, to that end, we have to factor in the playoff experience, which we talk about all the time, Robin. I think that there's a lot to be said about that, having been there as a team, being there together. But there's also X factors that we can't discount, especially when you think about the Spurs and the other teams really.
Yeah, and a 7'5" guy hitting step-back threes, absolutely. That's the hell of an X factor. I can't argue that. X factor from the X-Files is what it is.
Hey, but also,
X-Files is crazy.
Hey, also MJ and Robin, when you're young, you don't know any better. So
the naivete helps you.
Yeah, you don't know any better. Like, you don't understand the magnitude of what you're in, the magnitude of the expectations and what people are expecting from you. It's very similar to me growing up in Fresno. So the west side of Fresno is the roughest part in the city. Robin knows about that. That's where I was born, right? Growing up, it was fun. It was fun. I walked everywhere. I went to everybody's houses. Everybody, it was cool. I had a blast. But I don't go there now.
Right. Because you know better.
I don't go walking around and I don't go parading that hey, Chris Haynes is here. No, I don't do that. I go visit family members very discreetly, and I get in and out.
Yeah. I didn't know I grew up in the hood until I left the hood.
That's what I'm saying. You don't know until you leave. And so, but that's the good thing about a young squad. Once they go into a postseason or a playoff, because they're thinking, when you're young, you're thinking, I'm going to be here again.
Sure.
So there's no pressure. This is just the first of many. And a lot of times, that's not the case. But again, sometimes ignorance can be bliss.
Yeah.
How you like that,
perfect.
Robin? How you like that?
I know.
That was impressive,
Thank you,
worthy of Bartlett's.
Now that we did conclude Chris's thought, this is very important. Caesar, coming on here. We got some no interruptions.
No interruption. No, but we forgot a very important birthday today.
Who else?
All right.
Mitchell Robinson's birthday.
That's right.
So we should celebrate that.
That's right. Mitchell Robinson, man, one of the best big men, probably one of the best big men I know personally. Yeah.
Seems like there's a lot of 7-foot NBA players with birthdays on April 1st.
I know.
Weird.
Brooke, Mitchell.
That's
Yeah,
nuts.
that's pretty cool. That's cool company.
All right. Some interesting Sixers and Wizards.
Bill got a national promo for season ticket sales.
Who we assume is the head of sales.
Yeah.
Bill from sales is saying, go buy some Washington
Meantime,
Wizards tickets
they
before
are
April 10th.
leading 58-50, just under 5 minutes in the first half.
I wasn't expecting that. They're hooping.
They are. They really are. Champagne getting quite a few shots there. All right, let's head back west, because sitting just outside the top four in the West, the Houston Rockets got a big win over the Knicks last night, led by a complete game from none other than KD. What did the Rockets show you guys in this win over New York, Crispy?
Well, listen, I mean, they're a team that when they're on, they're firing on all cylinders. They're really good. And I still think they have glaring holes on offense and defense. But again, they have so much talent and they have some youthful players that where any given night they can give you problems. And that's what they did against the New York Knicks last night.
That's very true. I think they're aware they have holes, but like you said, when they're able to come together, put together a very solid team effort, they can be a tough team to beat.
If we look at what KD is doing, which is averaging the third highest minutes per game in the league this season at 37 years of age, how sustainable is that for Houston once we get into the post, Chris?
That's a good question, MJ. I don't know how sustainable it is, but it's a must because you got to have KD on the floor the bulk of the time to give this team a chance to win. And they have KD doing so much. And I would argue he's doing more than he has in any other season in his career. Trying to be a playmaker, facilitate, being up top of the key in pick and roll formations. And I would argue he hasn't never had to do that before because he's always had a point guard that could get him in the right spots. He's kind of playing a point forward role, and I don't know that he's best suited for that role, but being that they don't have a legitimate, real starting quality point guard, veteran point guard, I should say, he has to fill that role. And it seems like Coach Udoka, every week or every other week, he's going off and calling out his teammates, and he'll go short of calling out KD. So he's letting everybody know it's everybody else I'm talking about. You know what I mean? Right. So that shows that he relies a lot on KD, and they're going to need him down the stretch if they want to do anything seriously.
Yeah, it's tough to say because usually one of the big deciding factors in picking, who's going to win a playoff series, you got to look at who has the best player on the floor.
Right.
Because the game's going to come down to the ball in the hands of one of those two teams' best player. And a lot of the times that answer is Kevin Durant.
Right.
And I would be more than happy to have, my game-winning shot, my series-winning shot come down the line and to have KD on my team to take that shot. But there's so many holes in the roster that it's taxing. He has an extremely taxing workload that he doesn't need in addition to everything else he already has to handle.
Yep.
Yeah.
MJ is preaching. Robin is preaching. You preach too, MJ, just not the right.
I aspire to preach like MJ. I endeavor to preach like MJ.
I endeavor.
You got an amen for me, brother.
Period. All right, let's look at, as we look at the West standings, Minnesota and Houston have identical records, sitting 5th and 6th, respectively. So which team are you more confident in to make a little noise, perhaps, in the postseason, Chris?
Minnesota. Minnesota was a team preseason that I picked to get to the finals. Can't remember if I picked them to win, but also picked Anthony Edwards as a preseason MVP. I think Anthony Edwards is that good. I think he's a better ball distributor. I think he's a better playmaker, and he's confident. And I love when he goes up against the best. And I would love to see a matchup with him in Houston Rockets because KD was his basketball idol growing up, and he relishes those moments to play alongside, as a counterpart to KD. So I would lean more towards Minnesota.
Once again, I don't want to bet against Kevin Durant because between the two teams, I still think that Kevin Durant is the best player on both rosters. But Minnesota has a more complete squad. It's as simple as that for me.
Oh, you interrupting Robin?
Thank you. No, you see how he did that smoothly?
Yeah, he did. His intro.
You put Caesar on blast.
Yeah. Well, I didn't take any scenic routes in my story. I didn't talk about Kevin Durant's time at Oak Hill, or I didn't say how Kevin Durant during the does he?
Truly.
Yes, he does.
The P is for fresh.
PH. I see what you're doing. The Sixers sit just one game outside the play-in. When you zoom out slightly and assess the 5th through, let's go 10 seeds of the East, who stands out to you as being the best positioned to challenge those contenders that are really at the top of the conference here, Chris?
So we're talking 5 to 10?
Come on, Chris. The answer is
the Hawks, I will probably say. Hawks, Philadelphia, Joel Embiid, they get him back. I would say Philly. Because it's a veteran squad. They got guys who are championship ready. I'm talking about Embiid and Paul George. That's what they're playing for at this stage of their careers. So I would say them. But the caveat is, we don't know if they're going to be able to be a full go for playoffs. But, yeah, I'll go with Philly. What about yourself, Robin? What do you say?
With the shout out to my Orlando Magic, I got to go with the Charlotte Hornets.
I was waiting for you to say Hornets.
Yes, they've been on fire for the entirety of 2026.
Wow.
And they've gone into some impressive buildings like Boston Garden and gotten some wins against great teams. They recently had a great win against the New York Knicks, which wasn't even close. So I think in this stretch of games, I think they have a historic win margin. They're winning by 18 points each game or something.
Yes.
Wasn't he just standing for the Orlando Magic about 5 minutes ago?
Did I not shout out the Orlando Magic?
You shout him out, but you didn't go. You didn't pick him. You shout him out, but you didn't select him. You went with, I believe Charlotte's the 10th seed, right? Yeah, 10th seed right now. You went to the very bottom of the play-in.
I think the 18-point deficit in this current game might have had something to do with this.
No, not at all. Not at all. Shout out to my guys in Orlando. This Charlotte Hornets team, though, they've been unbelievable in the stretch.
Okay.
He has been leading the Hornets fan club since January 1st?
Since January.
January 1st.
But it's been Orlando all season.
It has.
And he's played in Orlando. He loves Orlando.
And can't forget about
the
mouse ears. Okay. trend. So I'll share with you all some patterns that we're seeing throughout the league. You two will tell me if it's a blip or something that is going to continue as a trend for better or for worse. So we start here. With Cade out, the Pistons are 6-2. A big reason for that is all-star center Jalen Duren. In those 8 games, he's averaging 23 points and 10 boards on 68% shooting from the field. And Duren is just the 3rd player since the merger to post multiple games of at least 30 points and 9 rebounds without missing more than 1 shot from the field. He has been playing like the best big man in the East as of late. Is this a blip or a trend, Robin?
Seeing as how the little graphic at the bottom has the header, Jalen Duren is the best big man in the East. I want to reward him for all the incredible things he's doing while Cade has been out, because I don't think anybody saw him turning his game up to this level, expanding the game as way he has. But the best big man in the East, I've got to call it a blip right now, because at the very least, I got Joel Embiid ahead of him still.
Oh, I know.
I'm feeling this beat right here.
He's giving
I'm about to bust a freestyle. You ready for this?
I'm ready. Go.
We ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. Listen, I think, first of all, Robbie, you're being very disrespectful. This man, you're being very disrespectful to Duren, the Detroit Pistons.
It says right there, it says the best big man in the East at the bottom of the screen.
Oh, but it says first blip or trend.
And he's saying no.
I believe he is trending. This is legit. This is what he is. Now you can make another. You can say otherwise. You don't think he's the best big man in the East. That's a different point.
No, that's the blip or trend. Jalen Duren. That's the question. The question is it a blip or trend that Jalen Duren is the best big man in the East? You got Joel Embiid. You got Giannis.
I'm looking at it. I'm reading it. Is it a blip or trend that these numbers will continue? How do you see it, MJ?
Yeah.
That's the way I see it. Okay, and it's a trend that these numbers will continue. You know why? Because he's one of the most physical specimens in the NBA. There's nobody that can match him pound for pound with the physicality. So I'm saying those numbers are legit, and they're going to continue, Robin.
Look, I'm not going to argue with that because you mentioned the things I love about Jalen. He's feeling his argument, too. He's not just feeling the beat, he's feeling his argument, too.
Let's go, baby.
But I don't want to argue against, you mentioned things I loved about Jalen Duren. He's physical, he's aggressive, he's dunking anything by the rim. I love the way he's expanded the game. I guess we're just not seeing eye to eye on what the prompt is on the question.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
On the prompt.
Yeah, that's fine.
I feel like you did answer it. You said it's a blip.
You did.
It's not going to continue. Yeah. Stand 10 toes down, both of you, on each of your answers here. Okay, moving on. The Knicks currently sit at 48-28. The exact same record as last year at this time in the season. They have lost their last 5 games against teams above 500. Is this recent run against winning teams in the league a blip or a trend, Chris?
The stats speak for itself. The results speak for itself. This is a trend. I think the New York Knicks are a team that is bored. I think they understand that they will be judged ultimately by what they do in the playoffs. So I think they've had the wrong mental approach throughout this regular season. And I think it's something that is normal for a lot of teams with expectations. They get bored by an 82-game season. But I don't know that this team is capable of just turning on that switch in the playoffs. But I do think that's what they're trying to get to. They can't wait to get to the playoffs. I believe they felt that way, but probably the last 2 months of the season now.
I have to agree. I think it's a trend. I think they have some marquee wins against quality opponents like in Vegas, and I think they got a game against the Celtics, but there's too many games against great teams. I know recently they got smacked by, who was it? It was Rockets, yes.
Okay.
Smacked by the
last
Rockets
night, yeah.
Just last night. So I have to agree with Chris. As dirty as it makes me feel, it's a trend.
Now, Chris did say this already. He said you don't think they can flip a switch on playoffs.
No, it's hard to do so. That's not. You practice. You are what you practice. And if you continue to do something a certain way for a long period of time, that becomes your norm. So it's really hard to turn the switch on. That some teams do, some teams can. I don't know if they have it in them, but we'll see. That again. That's why I play the game.
Yeah, and Dads, we call it full out. You have to practice full out.
Yep.
No market, big moves. You practice like you play. So that makes sense. Okay, after having an extremely productive month of February, averaging almost 22 a night and shooting 48% from three, Hornets rookie Con Knueppel has taken a step back as of late. In his last 6 games, Con is averaging just 13 points per game. Cooper Flagg has continued to remain consistent lately, averaging 27 and 6 in the month of March. It seems like Flagg is gaining ground on Con for Rookie of the Year. Is this a blip or a trend, Robin?
So this one is harder for me to quantify because I have to look at the facets of the question. So the question is, Cooper Flagg is gaining on Con Knueppel for Rookie of the Year. That presumes that Knueppel has been in the lead, which he has been, ever since Cooper Flagg went out for injury. So we're looking at, before that, it was a 1A, 1B race.
Right.
So supposing the question is true, I agree. Cooper Flagg going into these next few weeks is going to continue gaining on Con for Rookie of the Year.
Clarity. Okay.
This is tough. So, shout out to Alan, head of PR for the Dallas Mavericks. He just reached out to me right before we got on the show. Was basically showing me some stats to showcase why Cooper Flagg should be voted as the Rookie of the Year. And I've said up to this point, I think Con was in the lead. For the first time in my career of having a vote, I'm taking into consideration team success because I think Con has established himself in that realm and has helped the Charlotte Hornets have this surgence. With that being said, it's close. It's anybody's award right now. For those two. And I will say, Charlotte Hornets, Dallas Mavericks, send the gifts. I will evaluate the gifts because that's what happens. For those behind the scenes, there's a campaign, and teams always send gifts and try to give you stats and packages and gifts to try
What are the gifts? Like baskets for baskets?
I remember
basket, posters, shoes. I've gotten shoes. I've gotten clothes.
Edible arrangements?
Didn't Derrick Rose and the Bulls send out rose-tinted glasses?
Yeah, they did.
That's cute.
Yeah, I got that as well. So they get creative. These teams get creative with these gifts. So I got Dallas is coming on the way. They asked for my address. Charlotte Hornets, I haven't heard from you.
Okay, listen.
I haven't heard
All
from
teams send all gifts to the Association Studios. We will evaluate as a collective, right? To take some pressure off of Chris.
Fair.
We want to be involved.
We're worried about your health, Chris.
We just want to be involved. All right, blip or trend?
Hey, that was on point.
Christopher, I don't know. I think this is more Chris, and the other one was more Christopher.
Yeah, this is Chris. Yeah,
This is Chris.
This is
He's
Chris.
in
Hey, who's the DJ back there?
I know. That's a dope beat.
They on point right there.
Justin, was that you?
Oh.
Okay, Justin.
DJ J.
Draymond.
Speaking of Draymond, MJ.
That's Draymond's fancy swing. Yes.
Did you know Draymond having another stellar defensive season? He has 9 All-NBA defensive team honors.
Wow.
If he were to get one more, which would make 10, he would be in the company of about 5 players. And I forgot all of them, but I'm going to mention Kareem, Scottie Pippen, Tim Duncan, and I'm missing 2 more I forgot. But still, what? Caesar, come on, Caesar, come here.
Not come here.
It's Kobe.
It's Kobe. Okay.
KG.
Caesar.
And KG. Kobe and KG. So Tim Duncan,
Caesar's
Kareem,
like, I know who they are.
Scottie Pippen, Kobe, and KG. If Draymond gets one NBA defensive team, he falls into that category.
I love a did you know? Did you know?
Hall of Fame status right there.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Great company. And the Warriors currently sit 10th in the Western Conference. They have clinched a play-in spot. But what's even more exciting for the Warriors fans is that dun, 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 Steph Curry is looking to return on Sunday against the Houston Texans. Chris, back to you for more on that.
Okay, well, this is what I can tell you. Stephen Curry practiced yesterday for the first time at 5-on-5. I was told there was no setbacks. And so what's going to happen moving forward? He is expected to go through another 5-on-5 session on Friday. And if everything is clear, if everything goes as well, he is in line to make his return Sunday, and that will be against the Houston Rockets. And so at that point, he will have, I believe, about 5 or 4 games left in the regular season to get ready for that play-in bout. And so this is good news for the Golden State Warriors. And so he's in line for Sunday, but he still has to go through another 5-on-5. And as right now, we see him warming up live right here. We got a good production staff. Just go.
They are just on
cue.
it.
And so this is good news for the Golden State Warriors. So let's see if they can make some noise once Steph returns and try to carry some momentum and maybe even get into the playoff field.
Oh, we'll see. Anything is possible. The West is, of course, very, very tough, but when you got that guy out on the court, it makes a big difference for sure. The Warriors are 13-23 without Steph this season. So is his return enough to make them dangerous in the play-in, as Chris was talking about, Robin?
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially if you're just talking the play-in, no question.
Play-in
You got
specifically.
Draymond.
Start there.
Keyword, yes,
Yeah.
key play-in.
Draymond and Steph together, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely. The chemistry they have, the veteran leadership they have, I just think that, you know, I would argue that they'd probably be the favorites in the play-in to get the highest seed because I think they're that good. And listen, man, the NBA playoffs are much better when Steph and the Warriors are in there. So hopefully they can do some damage.
Yeah, and look, when he has been in there, he's been amazing, averaging 27 per night this year at age 38, same age as our friend Rolo here.
Almost as accomplished.
Almost. But it is impressive, and the age does, I know we joke about it, but it is different at that point in your career, for sure, Robin.
Yeah, no, it's very different. And you have to give it to those guys like Steph, KD, Bron, who are obviously putting just as much focus.
Lopez.
Brooke as well.
Perhaps. Now I'm going to have to make a negative face. It was going to be really positive face, but I was going to say, now I have to drag on all these guys here. But no, you have to give them credit for what they're doing off the court to prepare themselves for that on-the-court play.
Yeah. James Harden is up there. I believe he's, 36, maybe close to...
Probably a year younger than me, yeah.
Okay, yeah, getting close to 37. So, you know, right now this is a rare time. This is a rare period of where we're having guys, star-level guys, playing into their late 30s. Typically, you know, similar to NFL running backs. Like, they used to always say, once you get 30 years old, you're
it's
old.
A wrap.
Yeah, it's a wrap. NBA used to be the prime, you know, 34. Once you hit 34, that was pretty much it. And so now guys are defying time right now.
It's unprecedented. It kind of makes you wonder at what point that statistic's going to plateau.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, is there going to be a point where we're going to see more guys playing in they're in their early 40s. Look at them go.
Yeah. You know, you have to wonder, like, are these special guys or is it the science now? That
plays a huge role. The medicine is different, the science is different, the way they take care of themselves is different. It's just a different landscape for sure, all the way around. But we'll see. And I don't know that these younger dudes won't be playing that long.
No, well, yeah. You know,
They'll sit down and be unbothered.
I mean, you definitely have the science with it and everything, but with the speed, the pace of play and everything, you got to imagine that's a little more taxing.
Yeah.
Than the previous style of play, especially considering all 5 players. You have more guys playing uniform basketball, like started doing things that guards would do back in the day. So I remember having a conversation with Dwayne Wade, where he was like, "Man, I'm always worried about rolling my ankles," and I said, foolishly, stupidly, I said, I never roll my ankles. And he was like, "Yeah, well, look at you. You're a big man. You're always on 2 feet. Pivoting and everything. You're never endangering your." But now you have bigger guys doing stuff that guards are doing. So while the medicine is improving, you have to think, hopefully that pace of play keeps everybody healthy.
Yeah, and if we talk about pace of play, you can make the argument that Stephen Curry and the Golden State Warriors are what initiated the heightened of speed of pace of play, right? Their style of play kind of got everybody else playing to that and trying to mimic them. And so, I think, once again, back to Stephen Curry, I think if he's in the fold, if he's healthy, I think they will probably be the most dangerous team in the play-in.
That's intense. All right, let's talk Spurs a little bit here because they're the first team in NBA history to win at least 4 consecutive games on the road by 25 points or more. They've done that a total of 8 times this season, which is tied for the most all time. Chris, does this say anything to you about the mentality of this team as the playoffs get closer?
MJ, I am impressed. The San Antonio Spurs, I said it here on this show, probably 2 weeks into the season. An assistant coach from the Spurs told me, he was like, listen, the attention to detail, guys are focused. And I was like, why is that? He said, Wemby. I said, Wemby already? He has, he has everybody's ear like that? He said, yes, because what he's doing in practice, the way that he comes prepared and ready, it sets the tone. And I'm like, oh, it's good to hear. I've heard similar things from coaches before, but then we started seeing it on the court. Then we started seeing it in the play-in. Then I saw it All-Star weekend.
Right.
And now I've been seeing domination all season long from this squad. So I've just been impressed with the way that they keep focused, and that's why I'm saying, I know Robin and everybody else is saying, hey, baby, they got to go through some bumps and roads and valleys before they get to the promised land. Robin, I don't know that that's the case. They are too naive to know that you're supposed to be going through the rigors of a playoffs before they can truly reach their full potential. They believe, I repeat, they believe that the future is now. And whether you or MJ believe it or not, they don't care. All they care about is what they believe in that locker room. And in that locker room, Robin, they believe now is now.
It's Sunday?
Mm-hmm.
I think you
took
just
us to
took
church.
us to, yes, he absolutely did. I think they fully indoctrinated Chris. Whatever's going on in San Antonio, you know.
Good pastor.
That's Texas, though.
That was
Can
actually.
I get an offer now?
Tithing?
Brother, something, yeah. Can I get 10%, please? Brother hungry.
We are getting closer and closer to dinner time. But before we do, we're going to take an Amazon Prime NBA analyst. Brent Barry's in the house. Brent, thank you so much for taking the time to sit with us.
Yeah, no problem, MJ. Good to hear your voice. You guys have been crushing it all year long. Chris, hello to you. And hey, I don't know. Does Robin know it's his brother's birthday today?
He has been informed.
So
we could let him know.
Okay. Robin, when is yours?
It's good to have you on the show, Mr. Barry. It's good to have you on the show.
Happy birthday, Robin Lopez.
Oh, amazing. All right, Brent, you're on the call.
Hey,
Thursday.
Robin, I want to say this, though. If you're a twin, what I like about being a twin is if Robin ever does something wrong, he's got two things going for him. He's got either an alibi or he's got a suspect. So keep that in your back pocket when you get older and you're having some issues, Robin. You got the other guy.
He's absolutely right about
What could
that.
Robin possibly do that he would have to blame? Apparently,
Well, I'm worried about Brooke.
No,
I'm worried about Brooke.
You should be. He's right. Especially if you can get people convinced you're the good twin.
Yeah.
Always blame the other twin.
Is that what you've done to me?
Too late.
Exactly.
I'm shook. Okay, this has turned into a different show. Let's get to some basketball things. You're on the call on Thursday when the Wolves take on the Pistons in Detroit. Anthony Edwards made his return in a win against the Mavs, and the Pistons are 6-2 since K's injury. So what do you expect to see from this game?
Yeah, it's kind of fun. Robin and Chris, you guys know this time of year with the jockeying for position. I mean, just huge. But having a couple of their main guys out, this is a huge position game for both of these teams. I'm expecting to go see the Minnesota Timberwolves play the Detroit Pistons, and it might turn out to be the Minnesota Twins against the Detroit Tigers because the defense for both of these teams is excellent. I don't know who's going to be scoring in this game. But over the past couple of weeks, it's been some new faces that have been doing the damage for both of these clubs. You have Ayo Dosunmu, who's been absolutely awesome in the absence of Cade. And on the other side of things, how about Danis Jenkins for the Pistons and what he's done all year long? So kind of fun to see those guys and gaining some confidence and having the big stage and knowing there's 6 games to go. This will be a fun one.
I think that's the fun thing about spring basketball. You know, if we have teams that aren't so good, you have new names popping up, but also in the playoffs and the crucible of the moment, you have new names popping up too. So
I think, Robin, the thing I was going to ask you about is, you know, you played on so many teams, 16 incredible years in the league. When you have guys who are unproven, like some of these guys are, like Dosunmu has 0 playoff experience, Jenkins 0 playoff experience. These moments this close to the playoffs for these guys, I think does a couple of things with their confidence first, but their teammates' confidence in their ability. I just wondered how you thought about when you had a late addition to your team and how that starts to fuel maybe your confidence.
Just from personal experience, like I have 2 thoughts about like one of the moments I remember coming into our playoff stretch in my second year in Phoenix. And I remember Grant Hill told me, like, we want you to keep shooting that mid-range jumper whenever you get it. Just keep shooting it. And that was my second year in the league. You know, I hadn't been doing much. But that kind of gave me the confidence, you know, going into playoffs. But I also remember coming into, we came into, I was in Portland, coming into Portland. And I was a new addition on that roster. And I wasn't the best player on the roster by any means, anywhere close. We had LaMarcus Aldridge, we had Damian Lillard, Wesley Matthews, Nick Batum. Yeah. Batum's still playing in the league. Mm-hmm. But I was kind of like, I hate to pat myself on the back, but just as an example of what you were talking about, they were kind of looking for that glue guy to do the little things on the team, you know, that didn't stand out. And I think I was very beneficial in that regard to that Portland team.
Yeah, I was covering that team.
But, you know, Chris, the thing about that too is like, as long as the players don't try to outkick their coverage, you've gained the respect of your coaching staff, you've gained the respect of your teammates. The biggest thing that you can do, and to Robin's point, is to get the respect of the star player on the team. Mm-hmm. If he breathes life into you, I had the same situation with Robin's talking about playing for the Seattle Supersonics and playing in really kind of important playoff series with Gary Payton and Vin Baker in Seattle, and the things that they were able to say to me because of some of the things that I was able to do during the regular season or when called upon, it gave them like, oh man, this guy can handle some of these things, and I want to make sure that he understands that I believe in him. That's huge.
Yeah, definitely huge. And Brett, I want to apologize to my production staff because I'm coming with a completely different question than we had planned. But you speaking from an experienced lens, where former player, you were in the front office, you were part of a coaching staff, and you know now you're calling games. I want to ask about this because we were talking about teams jockeying for positions as you get close to the playoffs and trying to find that right bracket. Like, so we were talking about in the Eastern Conference where 3 and 4, like if you're the 3rd seed, you end up playing possibly the Boston Celtics in the second round. But if you fall to that 4th, you can play the Detroit Pistons in the second round potentially, and most people will view that as a favorable path to get to the end goal. What is your viewpoint on doing that? Do you feel like you should try to, like what's your strategy on trying to figure out what's the right path to get to the ultimate goal?
So Chris, it's a great question. If you're funneling it down, of course, you begin the season with the hopes of making it to play in the postseason. But once you know that you're going to play in the postseason, wouldn't you like to stay a little bit longer? So let's start to look at the last few games. Yeah. Like Minnesota's in this situation. It's a classic. Minnesota, who would you rather face if you're Minnesota? Do you want to play Denver or do you want to play the Lakers?
Mm-hmm. There you go. Mm-hmm. There you go.
And so being able to now, Robin knows this. You don't mess with the game too much.
Nope.
But if you look at the schedules and what's going down here, for you to be able to position yourself to be in the best position, 100% teams are doing that. And the whole point of it is to stay as long as you possibly can. It's like if you go out with Robin Lopez, you want to stay out past the time the bar closes. So stay with him as long as you can. So.
Never heard of him taking one sip of alcohol in his life. All right.
Oh, no, it's the extracurriculars, MJ. It's the extracurriculars.
It's the extras that come with Robin Lopez.
Is Disneyland open that late?
It is.
Okay. All right.
That means Epcot with Robin would be a time. All right, Brent, for those that don't know, you're a pretty good dunker, and that's an understatement. You won the 1996 Slam Dunk Contest. Yep. So who are some of your current favorite in-game dunkers right now?
MJ, you've been misinformed. I did one dunk really well at the right time, and I have this trophy that I cut in half and I use as a chip and dip bowl after winning the '96 trophy. True story. I do have it cut in half. I think I've shown Hainsey that.
Yes, you have.
Best dunkers right now.
That's a crazy dunk, though.
Absolutely.
My underrated guy is Neesmith in Indiana. People don't talk about him, but he gets a few occasional ones that are pretty surprising. I'll go on the Clippers because I've had to watch them most of the year, which means I've had to watch Brooke most of the year. Painful.
I apologize for that.
Yeah, painful. Yannick Conan Niederhauser's had some pretty sweet dunks for a big guy on guys. These are not your typical guys, obviously.
Also make some good answers, though.
Yeah, just to keep a curious eye on some of the guys you might not recognize so much. That would be two of them.
I love that. All right, Brent, thank you so much for your time. You have opened my eyes to so much in this interview, so we will be running this back. And we will, of course, be watching you on the call for Wolves Pistons Thursday on Amazon Prime. We appreciate it.
You're welcome, and congrats to all you guys. You've been crushing it this year.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So cool.
See you guys.
Cool.
Happy birthday, Robin.
Thank you. Such an honor to have you on. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
That's our guy.
That's awesome. We have so much to unpack, you and I. All right, we'll take a short break. I'm going to interrogate Robin, and we'll be back with more on the Association. Closing the box. No, this quote. Simply, when are we going to move on? We have to move forward. We're focused on the present and the future, and we've got an incredible opportunity to build. Hindsight, of course, 2020, but what do you guys make of the way that things were handled in Dallas with all of that?
As far as the quote or the trade?
Let's go with the quote.
That's a good quote. That's a good quote. That's a good way to deal with a question that's going to be nagging at the Dallas Mavericks for a very long time.
Yeah. What a quote that started is from Mark Cuban himself, who still owns 27% of the Dallas Mavericks. Obviously, a minority ownership, but he said the quote that started all this. He said that basically Jason Kidd was in agreement with Nico Harrison that they need to move on from Luka.
Yeah.
So that's what prompted.
Look, Mark Cuban, our coach and our general manager, traded Luka to the Lakers.
There you go.
This is news to me. Robin Lopez is receiving this news live on air, so.
This is what we're here for.
This is delicious. This is delicious. Oh, my goodness.
So this is really messy because typically minority owners typically do not give public comments on a team.
Yeah, but he's Mark Cuban.
He's Mark Cuban. He's different. He's different. But still, because the coach has to ask, has to answer questions to that. So that next meeting, Dallas Mavericks ownership group meeting, it could be problematic, to say the least. It could be problematic. So lots going on over there.
Yeah, indeed. Okay, so we're going to go from mess, from craziness, to a historic moment today, April 1st. Our guy, Wemby, showing support for the astronauts on the Artemis II mission. They're going the farthest distance ever traveled in space to the other side of the moon. Here is Wemby's message to the astronauts.
And I play basketball in the NBA. But I'm not only interested in shooting hoops, I'm also interested in shooting stars. And to the Artemis II astronauts who are shooting for the moon, I wish them good luck and Godspeed.
Oh, Wemby's a space nerd like me. I have been locked in on this, forcing everyone here at the Association to follow along with the Artemis II launch. It's history, guys. Just focus in, lock in. Also history, Rolo and Brolo were born today. So much has happened on this April 1st.
I know, right?
If they gave you a seat on that rocket, would you go?
Absolutely not. I'm claustrophobic.
Okay.
Oh, come on, Chris, you gotta go. You gotta go, Chris.
This is a perfect compilation. He does not condone violence. It was a peace offering, we thought.
No.
Robin knew better.
I could hear the ticking inside the box.
There
was a bomb
in the box. Robin, please.
I did the right thing.
It was a watch.
I did the smart thing.
It was a Rolex.
I hadn't even considered that.
Yeah.
It was a giant novelty Rolex.
Yeah. Oh, look. X Factor from the X-Files.
Yeah.
That's one way to do an homage to Wemby. Also.
That's why Wemby's so interested in space travel.
Correct.
He just wants to go home.
He wants to go home. Take us with you, Wemby. We'll be back on the Association.